guys, welcome back to Haywire Homestead. We are finishing packing up my parents' motor home, which is awesome, and heading to Homesteaders of America. So big thank you to my mom, Diana, because she's the one who got me a ticket for my birthday, because it's my first year going, and I'm super excited. I'm having a hard time deciding who all I want to see while I'm there. And we're gonna head out. It's gonna take us probably about 8 hours to get there, so. We are at our official campsite for the weekend, which is the luxury accommodations of the back of the Walmart parking lot. And we are not the only ones that have this idea. See all the truckers out there? See? So, yeah. After a long day of sightseeing, we are now eating dinner, or getting ready to eat dinner. We've got homegrown sweet potatoes in the air fryer. Those are ones that Mom and Dad grew on their farm. Mom cuts them up, puts them in packages in the freezer. I can show you what they look like because I know we've got one more in here. Ugh. So see, homegrown fries, nothing in them. She's got regular fries too. And then we're having some uncured knockwurst from Boar's Head, because that also is my diet issue friendly. This is the motorhome, and it's kind of messy right now because we didn't do anything. But, all right. Yummy. We're gonna eat.
Things. They can then turn it into sugar, that then it trades with soil microbes, that then gets fed to bacteria, and then it goes up the food chain, and eventually it gets to us. That's amazing to me. So plants are just solar collectors. What does the wind do to that solar collector? It reduces its efficiency. So annual growing spaces that are windswept can lose as much as 20 to 30% of their yield potential, because the plant, instead of being able to easily orient itself to the sun, it has to spend its energy fighting the wind.
10 hours of sunlight during the winter seems to be the cutoff point where you really don't get a lot of growth below that. And so then you start keeping track of what date that happens. For the broad majority of the country, it's February 1st. In the far north, it's a little bit later. In the far south, like Florida, it's a little bit earlier. But 10 hours of sunlight for the majority of the country happens about February 1st. Remember that date, and we'll come back to it.
Careful touching his butt.
This crowd's pretty sophisticated on this stuff. But a good number of states allow for herd share agreements. A couple of states prohibit it. A good number of states say nothing about it. And the states that say nothing, I will draft a herd share agreement for you, and I think it's perfectly lawful because it is not prohibited. In the states where sales are allowed, that will be intrastate, right? So within state lines again, just to be clear.
And I thank you guys for making that possible. So, you know, when I come to do a speaking engagement, which used to happen pretty often years ago, and then I just kind of got shy and too covered up with people that love me, I got to where I don't go out that much, you know. I really like the peacefulness and calmness forest. That's what I'm there, that's why I go there, that's why I live there, that's why I like it. Because of just the deep peacefulness of something that seems right as opposed to wrong. Like if you get in a city and there's a lot of people and you're distracted, like choo 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 choo, you just don't even know what to pay attention to, you know, and you got sirens and drama and too many people trying to talk to you and sell you something and scam you. It's not really natural, and it's not really peaceful, at least not to me. It's not.
I'm originally from New York. I'm originally from New York. I don't even think New York I grew up with even exists anymore because I grew up with.
When you say plantain, you're not talking banana plantain. The green cooking, but you are in one sense. We're going to talk about. Plantain is a non-native and a native plant. One of the old things you hear people talk about. Yeah, Indians called it white man's footsteps because everywhere the English went, they planted plantain. That, as Facebook with fact checkers would say, that's partially true. The English brought over English plantain, which is this, also called lance leaf plantain, as well as broadleaf plantain, because they valued it so much as food and medicine. But we already had about 15 species of plantain here, which I'll show you around the other side of the building, a big one. But they all work the same. It doesn't matter which one you use. I had a lady call me one night years ago, got bitten by a brown recluse spider. Now, it's not a spider bite. It's a severe, life-threatening gangrenous wound that can form. And I've seen people lose fingers and hands, all sorts of ugly stuff. So the spider bite, she said, and she was got bit on the back of the hand. Not a painful bite either. Most people never notice it. I woke up in the middle of one night in bed, had one on my face. And it was like you instantaneously know out of a dead sleep, there's a spider in you. A big thing too. I thought, that's all I need to get bit on the nose. But she said, it's really looking bad. And I said, here's what you do. This is normally something you make as a medical treatment because they do antibiotics, debridement, etc. Eventually it's to bring out the ice cream scoop, you know, and just take every bit of flesh away past the point where it's been affected, or it just keeps going and then you lose fingers. And I said, easy to take care of at home. Get you a potato. You want not a sweet potato, an Irish potato. And said boil it and then cut the end off. And you want to put that flesh down on the bite as hot as you can stand it. But there is a fine line between a hot potato and a potato that will scald you, so be careful. Said when that cools down, do another piece of hot potato. When that cools down, I said, do you know what plantain is? She said, oh yeah, I got it in my yard. And I said, well, get you some plantain, throw it in a pot or a blender, some boiling water just to barely cover it, and pulp it up to where it comes out like canned spinach, just old goopy old canned spinach. Put that on hot. Do it again when it cools off. Third time, bind it on and leave it overnight. She called me the next day. She said when she took the potatoes off, you could see the brown venom that it had sucked out. Because what a hot potato does is the heat and the moisture softens the tissue, brings blood to the surface, it draws and it sucks out that venom that it can. Then plantain does two different things. It goes back to one of the things you just mentioned, is that it neutralizes poisons of any sort, whether it's, if it was a grid down situation, I'd use it for a rattlesnake bite. That's part of the protocol. But it neutralizes the venom, and then plantain contains a chemical called plantain. Same as in comfrey. Same as in plantain the bananas. Well, sometimes the men's little swimmies aren't exactly swimming too well. So what the Creeks would do is you made a tea out of this, and both the man and the woman drank it during the cycle, and that way whoever was having the infertility issues got treated.
don't do that right, you're either going to get cracked. So a lot of times whenever you see cracks, the steel is too hard. Or if it's too soft, then it'll get disformed and just stay disformed. So we'll see if I got this hard. Pretty good. So what you're looking for is so if it digs in, hear that sound? That's soft steel. So the file's actually big again. Whenever you skate a file, it goes right across that steel.
Golden Stitch. I forgot a couple words. You ain't gotta make a big boatload of bucks to buy me a new four-wheeler or a pickup truck. You ain't gotta be rich, darling, if you want my love. It sure wouldn't hurt if you was. I know a whole lot of fellers who cast their poles in the shallow part of the fishing hole. Me, I'm fishing a whole lot deeper. I don't just wanna catch one, I wanna keep her. So if you want my love, baby, you don't have to be a good cook. Make all those gourmet recipes from the Betty Crocker cookbook. You ain't gotta walk around the house all day in a little red satin slinky negligee. You ain't gotta be sexy, darling, if you want my love. It sure